All right, I've got heals. I can heal. I can join your group. I'm looking for a group. I'm a healer.
Do you see that? Do you see that guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I could heal you. Yep. Hey, do you guys need a healer over here?
I mean, we do need a healer.
Do we? I mean,
No, you don't want a healer?
But we don't have one yet, so and there's not very many.
doesn't have to be him.
I mean, I've not seen a healer LFG for
Hey,
No. Don't look. Don't
so
look at
I'm
him.
a healer. I've done this raid like once.
Yeah.
Half done it once.
Wow.
Would you
So
guys...
you made it past the second boss then?
Okay, like a quarter made it through. Would you like to join
Wow.
groups? I could be a healer.
Run.
Oh, damn it.
Just run.
Okay. Looking for a group. Okay. Oh, I guess I'll go do something solo.
Hello and welcome everybody to another Lore Dive. This time we're talking about party roles, tanks, damage, and heals. With me today we have Daniel Matthews, aka Dr. Z, the psychic jellyfish.
Oh, hello, and I'm here to offer the heals. Does anyone need heals?
No.
Oh, god damn it.
And also in this party is Taylor, aka Cleo DeCap, the explosives expert bear.
Hello. I'm here to just bash and button mash. That's my favorite.
And leading us through this lore dive of our party, it's the leader. It's DM Dynamite.
Yeah. Guild leader. Wow.
Thank you.
Vote
right,
to
everybody.
kick.
I'm raising the gold taxes to 20% because we need to buy a new submarine.
Don't make us shard your purples.
TeamSpeak is now compulsory. If you're on the game, you need to be on voice.
And if I see anyone in the raid who hasn't had their raid buff food, you're out of the guild.
Oh my lord!
You're
All
getting
these
benched.
rules.
Because it's so simple. It's so simple. You just go to the auction house and you just buy one.
I don't have
We
enough
don't-
money, sir.
We don't have money because you've been taxing us.
You took all my money, sir.
Well, look, do your dailies and you have money.
Please, can I have some money and a potion?
Can I?
It's really so simple.
Please, can I have some
So,
food?
I mean, we're alluding to MMOs a lot.
We were, sorry.
Obviously, the tank DPS heal trinity, I guess, is very much an MMORPG
We're
kind of
MMO
concept.
kids. We grew up with MMOs being our teenage years. So
We did.
it's-
Oh, unfortunately, most.
Oh,
of
but
those
let's
years.
talk about how these ideas of party roles and these different positions with the party interact with Orbital Refuse and, more importantly, with the Backwater Bastards.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So, for those who aren't MMO gamers, or this is this whole breaking down party roles into these three specific ideas.
It's a
This
thing.
may be a new idea to you, or maybe if you just want to hear me talk for an extra 10 seconds, let me explain that to you.
Ooh.
So, when we have a tank, a damage dealer, and a healer, a tank, their job is to tank the damage. They take the damage, they provoke or jump in front of. They are the ones getting hit because they can get hurt less. They've got better armor, they've got more hit points, or they have some way of mitigating that damage.
Pick on somebody your own size.
Pretty self-explanatory. A healer heals people who have been injured back up to health, gets those HPs back up so that they don't die.
Hearts and brains.
And our damage dealers, their job is to kill
Pew,
the
pew,
enemies
pew.
before the enemies kill you.
Yeah. I was trying to think of another one today, but pew pew pretty much does it.
If you didn't get it after that, well, you're not getting it.
Pew pew.
I think for start, like party roles that we're going to talk about, we're going to break it down to these three parts, but I think there's a lot of crossover, especially in a classless system like ours, and with strange, unique, flawed, but ultimately very superpowered characters like we have. I think they're all going to have a little bit of all of these abilities within their makeups.
Ooh.
But let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. All right. Party rules. How does it work? Games have given us a lot of ways to break up how we want to play, but how much does party build factor into the design of Orbital Refuse? Does it? Do we
Well, that's
care
the thing,
about
like,
this?
I definitely, I didn't design combat with full on, you need a tank, you need a heals, you need damage. But I did definitely design it in a way where mitigating damage and healing lost health are very important to the gameplay. Like if you don't have some way to avoid damage, you will die quite easily, because everyone has low health, really standardized damage, legitimately 2 lucky dice rolls, and any single character in this game could die unless they have some way to mitigate that damage, whether that be ducking behind something, standing behind the tank, using shields, using armors. So having at least a vaguely balanced party does make sense. If you had an entire party of glass cannons, you'd be in trouble.
Well,
unless you're all, I don't know, like assassins who kill the entire enemy with a one shot before they get you.
We've seen the One True Leader's red jelly crew. They were all very squishy glass cannons, but I guess they also did hide behind tanky fellas, the pirates.
that's true.
And I think they as well, if you've got telekinesis, you always have a way to block stuff,
Yeah.
That's a damage mitigation ability.
Do you even need it? Do you need this stuff? Can you just play without it?
I think you can play. I mean, the way I wanted to design combat, and again, because we have such a storytelling-based, role-play-based combat system, I wanted it to be the sort of thing where you are doing a lot of ducking behind walls, holding things up to block yourself, trying to interrupt what people are doing, all these sorts of things. It doesn't have to be a full-on, oh no, the tank just has to take the damage. Mitigating that damage somehow has always been a much more interesting and realistic combat gameplay mechanic to me.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm happy I have the shields. And so when we've got these crews, is there a way to min-max? Is there a place for it in this game? Is it a viable strategy for it? And then on top of that, why did you set up the advantage and disadvantage system the way it is?
Well, first of all, I mean, there is 100% a place for min-maxing in this game. When you've got the system where you can take as many advantages as you want, as long as you take an equitable amount of disadvantages, there's going to be min-maxing. If someone really wants to make a broken character in this game, they're going to be able to do it. And I think as well, in that sense, you could definitely make someone who does just as much damage as anyone, can also tank, can also heal themselves.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from creating this hybrid character that can look after everything all on their own.
But
Obviously, they would have to be bad at some things. They might be really antisocial, really hated,
quite slow.
a massive criminal record. They could have all these problems, but they would be an absolute god in combat. You could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Speaking of min-maxing,
Yeah.
do you remember when we were doing our 110 years ago? I think this was in November or December 2020,
Ooh.
right? When we did the Benjamin's charity stream 1,000 years ago.
Yes, that was so
And-
much fun.
And people, there were a bunch of people involved. I can't even remember. It was parties of 3. And so it was
Yeah.
20 people, more than that. I don't know. And everybody had to make an orbital refuse character. And this was the first time we ever did this with just
Yeah.
a bunch of people. And do you
We gave it to
remember how it went? Do you remember the precog that was I am
everyone
going to
was-
break the game?
Yes,
Everybody was doing their best with bowling.
Yeah.
And there was people made some cool characters. People made some very powerful characters. None of it mattered for the
It
live
did not.
stream.
It did not at
Because
all.
Dick had been playing this with us, and we were like, we're not trying to be good at nothing.
But this is something that I think is how we play, but also how you've set this game up. It feels like you've set up the advantage and disadvantage system to try and get us to embrace the risk of being bad and failing.
I mean, that's my favorite. That's definitely my take on it. The reason why I've done it, and definitely what I would want to encourage people to do is build a character that's really good at something, really bad at something. It's more fun that way, and it forces
Risk
you
is
to
fun.
Yes.
to create a play style, because you could you make a character who can do everything, and it's still fun because ultimately it's roleplay. You can do what you like with it, and there's something as well with the Backwater Bastards themselves, and maybe we should talk about party roles and the makeup of this party.
Yeah.
I think we do have quite a well-balanced party where all your different inabilities cover one another. I mean, especially when you had Herodotus with you.
Yeah.
He definitely filled in some gaps between the two of you, which...
Yeah, but now Zio's pretty ultimate, so...
I mean, Zio does become a
Yeah.
tanky damagey god.
Yeah.
With heals tacked on for fun. I mean, Dr. Z obviously is a healer / DPS.
glass cannon.
Yeah, I mean, he can deal some pretty good damage, but mainly, I guess he has a lot of support abilities more than damage.
Yeah, I would say glass cannon, but
Kind of a support healer guy, because he does heals.
you
He
know
doesn't
what?
necessarily
If this
do
was
it
League of
super
Legends,
often.
I would say Tarek. You know?
Yeah,
Can put the
I mean,
shield on.
he's definitely a support character.
Yeah, can do
because
a
he
support
has
character for sure.
He has the shield, he has the hacking, he has the healing.
Yes.
He has the mind hacking of other enemies as well. Like, so he can like take things over and stuff. He doesn't necessarily hurt them or kill them, but he dominates their mind and takes them out of the equation.
Yeah.
He's got serious crowd control. Whereas Cleo, I mean, she is tanky. She can take a punch, but I think Cleo is a damage dealer. Almost like her build to me and the way she's usually played.
Yes.
I think Taylor has built an absolute fucking damage powerhouse.
Oh,
Because,
sure.
Indeed.
Explosives, like I feel like Cleo's tankiness is offset by the fact that she's reckless with her explosives.
Yep. That's exactly.
Cleo has all that extra hit points, but she loses it to herself.
Yes.
Putting herself back down to the level of anyone else.
I've seen this happen a few times.
Look, you
In order
don't
to do
have to
more
give me
damage.
any disadvantages because I am my own biggest disadvantage.
Well, it is like sort of like an inbuilt advantage-disadvantage thing where like she can do more damage than anyone else can in one turn.
Yes.
But I
But
can
she,
take it away as well.
Yeah.
She loses any tankiness that she had.
We don't need big bads.
No.
I'm the biggest bad you ever gonna get.
Let's humor the three role system and talk about tank abilities and ways that we tank then.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, I mean, we hide a lot.
If we want to look
Yeah.
at some tanks, I mean, I think we can include Cleo in this because she does have this skill set.
Look, for Z, Cleo is the strongest bulwark. Is that bulwark? Bulwark?
What
Bulwark?
the
What's the word?
bulwark?
Bulwark?
Bulwark.
She is a bulwark.
She is.
I don't know how to say this, but I know
How do
the
you say
word.
this
word,
bulwark?
the bulwark.
I don't know. I've only ever seen it
That
written
sounds
down.
wrong, but that's the only way I've never had to say it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're having that
I'm
moment.
Googling
Everybody out there, you know this moment. You've read this word 1,000
Hang on,
times.
I'm going to get Merriam-Webster to say it to
It's
me
a defensive
phonetically.
wall, a bulwark.
Hang on.
But I've never heard it, and it sounds
Bulwark.
weird.
Bulwark.
A bulwark. There we go.
Bulwark. Yeah.
That's
For Z,
fuck.
Cleo is the bulwark.
Thank you.
Yeah. That sounds
I think
weird,
of you
but
in that way as well, but in a different. Yep.
But I mean, other characters we've seen doing some tanking, like definitely Dietz, I think, when you...
Really?
Well, you've only fought him the one time, but he took a pounding
Yeah,
and
that's the
kept
thing.
coming.
Dietz
He
has
wasn't
taken
tanking
a-
that good when we ripped his little handies off.
but he fell
Well,
from a
you
ship.
know, I mean,
He fell from a ship and still survived.
I know.
no
I
tank
just,
can do everything forever, but, you know.
Yeah.
debatable. You're looking at her.
Yeah. Dietz. And then what about the since we're thinking about droids, K2 helped make Dietz, right? And K2's droids seemed pretty
Pretty
Tank.
tank.
tanky.
Mhm.
Keen's gear looks more kind of flamboyant and
Yeah.
use specific, whereas K2 is very utilitarian.
Well, so if we're going to talk about synths, I mean, we can't forget old mate M8.
Oh, the tankiest tank of them all.
Oh, M8.
Because
Big
M8
tank.
legitimately has like a special ability built into their build to take even less damage
Yes.
from physical attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way armor works, and this is a good time as any to talk about armor. We're talking
Oh,
about
are
tanks.
y'all listening?
The way armor works is you equip armor and you just take one less damage from everything, which doesn't sound that good. It's
You'd
like, oh,
think
you can't
after all
upgrade
these
that. It
years
doesn't
I'd
get
put
any
on
bigger
a
than that.
pair of pants.
But you got to remember, nobody in this game is doing more than like 1 to 6 or 1 to 8 damage. So like taking one off that every single time you take damage is huge.
Pretty good.
When
It
you
will
say it
keep
like
you
that,
alive.
it seems really obvious.
It'll keep you alive long enough. Yeah, if someone rolls a 1, it goes, ding,
We should get some armor.
Yeah, we have it.
you have armor.
We never think of it though, and when we're
Nope.
taking then the damage into consideration.
Dick thinks of it.
You guys actually haven't taken any damage for quite a while.
Well, that's because we're brilliant players. I'm trying to think of other brilliant tanks that we've seen, and the only other one that comes to mind right now is Parter. I imagine Parter would be pretty tanky, but at the same
I
time,
mean,
complete
Parter's
pacifist.
huge. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, on the subject of M8 had an additional, like, a game breaker rule
Really?
that meant that they took 1 damage even less
Oh.
from any purely physical attacks, which does mean you shoot them with a blaster, they're still going to take damage. But if they get, like, smashed into something or if they ram themselves into something, they take literally -2 damage, which increases the chance of them taking no damage significantly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's, I feel like if you wanted to build a tank in, you know, like a specific, like, I am a dedicated tank character
Yeah.
in this game, I think having some sort of game changer or alien ability along those lines would make a lot of sense because
Yeah.
that's it's one of the main ways you're going to up your armor.
Yeah, brilliant.
Whereas Parta, I think as well, because they're literally a giant.
They're just so large.
They would have more hit points than anyone else, I think. Even more than Cleo because they're so much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Parta, I didn't really build them with combat in mind. So who's to say what Parta's actual stats are?
I think they're a lot.
But yeah, I mean, being a health tank would make a lot of sense. So if you can just take more of a pounding, like by the end of it, you're just bloody and beat up and you need heals badly. But if you can just weather the storm, that's a perfectly legit way to tank as well.
Ah. Okay, so you could tank with flesh, you could tank with
Stuff.
Armor and the tough. But what about shields? Because that's my favorite way to mitigate damage.
Well, again, shields is great because shields just buys you time. Shields is essentially extra health, but you don't get hurt by it. You
don't get hurt, but it's like, say I have 1 point of shield left in my belt or in my projector. I could get hit with a 10-point attack, but all 10 points are mitigated and deleted because they've hit my shield. There's no carry through.
And that's what makes shields a very, very powerful defensive ability. And like I balanced the entire concept of this combat. I mean, I say balance loosely because maybe there's some balancing yet to do. But I don't know, it seems to have been working really well.
Yes.
With the notion that like a lot of people are going to have shields. I think like energy shields and energy weapons are just really stock standard. If you're going to go into a fight, you make sure someone in your party has got shields because you need them.
Whoops.
And it's always sort of felt that way. Like you've got to be like, okay, this looks like this is going to be a lethal attack, so we're gonna use shields on this one. Buy yourself the time to work out how to win the fight.
Well, they are a great gift, a great boon, but also don't go through them.
Yeah, don't do that. Stop doing that.
Otherwise, you'll be in a bag being carried around by Cleo while she looks for honey.
It's something we talked about like really early on. It's like, can Z just use shields offensively? And my general ruling was like, no. And then until we invented the butter knife, where it's like, okay, now you just definitely can use shields totally offensively. Imagine a personal butter knife. That's the next thing he should invent, isn't it?
No.
But we're too slow.
Imagine-
it would be like it'd be the easiest bullet to dodge, just us running at you with a
Imagine M8 with a personal butter knife.
Oh.
M8 is already so impossible to beat.
Yeah, also you can power up M8 more and more, but M8 just still has the personality that isn't going to use any of it.
It has to be that way, otherwise M8 would be unbeatable.
Unbeatable, yeah.
M8 is incredibly OP. Like,
Cut to
and
season 6 of
it's such a
Orbital
joke
Refuse.
too, because we made M8 in like 3 minutes. Like we didn't even. Dick has statted M8, but just so you know how that process went, I just went, they're going to be really dense because I read about neutron stars. I want them to be called M8, like mate, because this is the voice I want to do. And they're going to be kind of a shitty little baby. And that was it. That was the build. There was no like big meeting where it was like, let's put numbers to this. No.
I'm looking forward to season 5 of Backwater Bastards Orbital Refuse because we'll find out that M8 has gone evil and is now the big bad. And we have to fight M8 and everyone's
die. Well, that will be the thing that kills us.
Certainly, if M8 gets like any more OP, they're going to have to be a villain because heroes can't be the most powerful thing.
Live long enough to... No, what is it? Die as a hero or live long enough to become the villain?
Dick, why can't we just have a happy ending?
Well, I think we'll have one eventually,
Debatable.
You keep slogging away at it. Eventually you reach the happy ending.
It's not very futuristic.
Why don't we talk about defensive moves that we've done before, like good tricks for staying alive? Like, can we remember any from the podcast?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm usually not really trying that hard to stay alive. I'm just kind of throwing myself at danger. Because it really gets me going. I just want to I live for the boom.
For the big booms.
Absolutely. That's it.
I have the shield projectors on me. So obviously I love the shields. I love using them.
Sometimes Z puts a shield on me and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I like being the support character. And the only other defensive move I can think of right now is making it rain cash monies while being shot at with sniper rifles.
I mean, that's a very recent one.
That was a great one.
Worked a treat.
It did.
I definitely like putting something in between you and the damage, especially against range attacks, is a really solid defensive move. You can hey, shoot me, and then just hide behind a thing.
Yeah.
They waste their time shooting at nothing. It's you're just being like a bard tank.
To be honest, though, I almost play tank like a support. because,
Yeah.
and I think that playing Cleo has helped me embrace the fear of going in knowing I'm going to get hit. There have been a lot of times where the thing that I do as a defensive move is put myself in between something and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because Cleo has gotten hurt a lot, and it almost sometimes it's not that bad. And I always expect it to be really lethal, but Cleo gets hit, and then I see the readout and we compare hit points. And mine, I have quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you've got more than double Z's hit points.
Exactly. And so it kind of doesn't feel like that big of a deal. Like it's not a lot of points. So you do have to kind of be aware of it. But I think that playing Cleo for all this time, I'm kind of like, I'm okay to take a hit. And often as an actual strategy, I will.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's coming. And if it hits Z, it will be a problem. If it hits me, I'll still be all right. So
And then
actually,
I
I
can heal
am my own best defensive move.
Yeah.
Get
I can heal
that.
you as well.
Get that. Do one.
Do 1, do 3, take them all.
Well, I do think as well, you guys have like routinely used a bit more like guile and clever tricks or
We do try to talk our way out.
Yes.
to avoid death quite a lot.
Like old Yellering Boris.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
that was a
Or just like little
defensive
things
move.
like like Z takes over someone and then pretends to actually be. They're like, no, we're not going to shoot these people anymore. Like it's all these sorts of
We're
little tricks
scoundrels.
and stuff.
We
We're scoundrels.
stealth, we stealth a lot more than you would expect us to.
Yeah, you're not necessarily good at it, but you
No.
do a fair bit of it.
We're bad at it, but we like to do it.
And then the only other defensive move that I can think of is kind of a video game trope at this point, but we take cover a lot.
We do.
We take cover. If there's cover, we're taking it.
Yes. I think I would play if I was in this game as me, I would take cover
Yeah.
a lot too. I'm constantly,
Exactly.
is that a bug? Gotta hide.
Yeah, I'm glad that's the way we've been running it.
We do not do the brave stand out in the open unless it's
Unless we
absolutely
gotta.
necessary.
Well, I mean, we've seen what happens. The Bordis and Fron situation, when as soon as you jump out of your cover and get right in the line of fire of a big rampaging bear.
That will
Yeah.
never, ever
Fucking
not be
hell.
such an absolute brick to the head. I will never forget
Boom.
Dan's face when it happened. Because you described it as this incredible, majestic Air Jordan silhouette
Oh yeah,
jump.
because it
and
was.
then Dick just brought you the hell down.
Yeah, this giant ass bear just fucking crushes
We
you.
all just sat there. I can't believe he just let that happen. And Dan
The
was
one
just
time leaving
silent.
the cover. Yeah. But you know what? Now that we're talking
That
about
was
it,
devastating.
I'm realizing that Tay, you're completely right. We are stealthy, covered.
extremely
bastards.
stealthy.
We actually play this game very, very safe and very slow.
Well, we got safer, I think, as we matured.
Yes,
I think,
yes,
I mean,
yes,
Cleo
yes.
almost dying in the first few episodes.
That really,
knocked some sense into you guys like right away.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think we
But still,
have
though.
grown as people as we've
Yeah, yeah, I
played
think
this
so as
game.
well.
There's a lot of ways.
We're tapping X on every wall.
We're quite
Look at-
responsible. We are.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember our first campaign, 2018, baby.
Oh yeah, rile around, get it on Patreon. It's in the
Do
show
you
notes.
remember those people?
Well, I played a coward then, so I
Well,
I
you
also
were-
They're a
wasn't.
lot more reckless, but I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is a bit more forgiving in that sense. Like your
Yeah.
fights can go on for a lot longer if you like realize, like, oh
Yeah.
shit, we're losing this. Let's get out of here, kind of
Dan
thing.
regularly abandoned us, though.
I did, yeah. I did actually hide a lot.
And we would
Yeah.
pick fights up front. We
Yeah.
weren't really, I think, because, I mean, and that was sort of like the party byline, right? Like we were kind of being a bit shitty most of the time.
Yeah.
That iteration of Bastards were definitely kind of villainous.
Well, because we
you
were
know, like-
leading into the bastard part of it, but
Yeah.
then we grew, and it's cool that we grew.
Mm,
You think back to that first character, right?
mm,
I'm gonna be this, and
yeah.
Cleo and Zio are rogues, but they're not villains. And Herodotus skirts the line of being a bit villainous a little more, but I think he's still, you know,
Old white man.
yeah,
you,
he's,
you
still,
are.
he's still this side of being a rogue.
It's all perception, man. Like you
Yeah.
are the villain in somebody's story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that we have that perspective more often than
Now I
not.
want to see a bystander bastards episode where we see
Just how bad you are.
us as villains in someone else's mind.
I mean, you have done plenty of bad stuff.
Well,
Okay, well,
yeah, it's okay. It's
whatever.
Kind of,
Cut that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Let's move on to damage
proud of
and
it.
attacking moves.
Damage.
So that was a really great example of damage that Dick just did on us.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
I think like a lot of you out there know that as Dick magic or the turtleneck coming on, which looks like he's wearing another turtleneck today. Great.
Same turtleneck.
So when
Gross.
Dick's got a turtleneck on, we know the damage will be dealt that night. But who's another really big damage dealer other than Dick?
Yeah.
So I did mention Cleo because I think Cleo might be a tank, but she is also
Fuck yeah.
a big damage dealer.
She's the big damage, let's be honest.
She's got big gun, big axe, and more importantly, big explosives.
And the biggest balls you've ever seen.
I'm pretty sure Cleo has the ability of weapons expert and can just use every weapon.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Cleo
Yes.
can pick
Yeah.
up any weapon and be totally good with
Yeah,
it.
there's no disadvantage.
Yeah, and
for Cleo.
that's like I kind of attribute that. If you go back to human Cleo, where she was super dexterous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this master with any weapon. She had just
This is a coping mechanism. I learned.
yeah, she's grown up in a harsh, hard place. But at some point, she
Tinkerers.
managed to start getting her hands on guns.
Yeah.
No matter what you hear, don't you ever forget that Cleo is smart as hell.
She got
Okay?
real good at them.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I know it. So who are some other damage dealers that we can think of?
Well, if we're talking about the Bastards Party, you can't forget about Trevor,
Well,
who
you can,
definitely
but-
isn't a tank or a healer. Let's give him that much.
Wait, is Trevor strong just by himself, or is he a damage dealer when he's in a ship?
He has a gun.
Because he's definitely a damage dealer once he gets in a ship.
Yeah.
He's like a little like crappy ranged guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
he is kind of, if you wanted to build a marksman, I'm going to kick some ass, just pull out my guns and just blam, bang, bam. You wouldn't make Trevor.
yeah.
You would make them better than that.
Yeah.
But
This is exactly how you talk about Trevor.
he has a crack shot and he has guns always on him. He is
Yeah.
always ready to shoot.
He is always ready to shoot. Think about it. Every time Trevor goes somewhere with us, he's like, I've got my gun ready. And we're like, Trevor, we are at the
that's
mall.
True. Yeah.
Can you stop?
This is true, actually. Yeah, I guess maybe we've been tempering Trevor a bit.
We
Like,
don't
he's
take
always
Trevor
keen.
seriously.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember as well, Trevor's origins are growing up as this disenfranchised, kicked out of their planet people who've grown up with this notion that we're going to take it back one day. That's
Yeah,
his.
but we are Tal Morrising Trevor.
I guess we do tell Morris Trevor. We slow him down.
Spoiler, if you have never listened to Ralaran, you should. And then you'll know what
Do
that
it.
meant.
Yeah, I agree, Taylor.
But yeah, I mean, I think he is actually more trigger happy than you guys. Just
He is.
I think by virtue of the fact that he was brought up to believe he was already at war.
We usually stop him, I feel, because
Yeah.
usually Trevor's like, hey guys, have you noticed how serious and how quickly this event that we're in has escalated? And we're always, shut up, Trevor. We want to try something cool and weird. And then we just, it's like being a hunter in a video game and like you have a pet and the pet is about to attack because there's a threat and you just turn that off.
No, that's not how we're doing this, Trevor.
Trevor, we're going to try something weird. Just go have a cookie in the corner. Poor Trevor.
that's
I'll
brilliant.
bet
No-
we should, you know what? We should release Trevor on people.
We should unleash Trevor. I mean, it's his problem to deal with, right? We could just walk away.
Well,
I do think a lot of his bravery comes from the fact that he knows he's got you guys next to
Oh,
him.
you think he knows that we're going to pull him back and he's, hold me back, guys. I'm going to.
It's just also if shit does hit the fan and he does
knows we'll
actually
save
start
him.
firing and start a fight, you guys will have his back.
he thinks.
Yeah.
He can always stand behind Cleo. She's big.
Maybe
and
it's
tanky.
because we've been in Borigin for the last few weeks. I can't wait to hear Trevor's voice again. I'm looking forward to it. I miss the guy.
You miss Trevor?
I miss Trevor.
very rarely do our big wild swings. When someone goes, I'm going to do a real cool thing. The coolest things that we do always seem to be the ones that fail. I mean, remember the railgun
Yeah. Jesus.
Which railgun?
when we were fighting the one true leader?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That was an improvised weapon.
We built it up so much, it was so cool. And it was, hey, what if we can come up with a way to get Cleo make a real good bomb
Yep.
and then we can blast it really far as well?
Yep.
That's the kind of playing around with the system you can do to
Mm.
combine these abilities and do these things. So obviously weapons, big thing.
Yeah.
One-handed weapons do 1d6 damage, two-handed weapons do 1d8 damage. That's kind of just it across the board.
Yeah.
Starships, so if we're talking about Trevor, they do actually either 2d6 or 3d6 damage, which
Yeah.
is an absolute shit ton.
We got to start shooting people with Reese.
Yeah.
And then
Reese.
worse yet, when Cleo makes a bomb, that does 3d6 damage, unless she makes a real big one. I mean, we have made big bombs that I think have done up to like 10d6 damage.
Bombs
Yeah.
have never let me down.
Well-
Even when they get me,
Yeah.
I'm on board. That's part of
Yeah.
it.
If you're willing to make and set off a big enough boom,
And I am.
it will kill anyone.
I am willing. Whatever it takes.
But we have seen other attacking moves, telekinetic attacks, rebar, for example.
Oh
Yeah, so-
my god.
Because I wanted to ask, if we're thinking video gamey and we're thinking orbital refuse rule sets, what type of skill builds could a DPS have, and how varied could they be?
So there's lots of things that I would really like to see that we haven't.
Oh, yeah?
Cleo has her bear claws,
Uh-huh.
which is alien anatomy function that allows her to do more damage barehanded than she would normally be able to do if she was
Yeah.
just a less lethal humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
So wraiths have got a lot of things like that. They
Oh,
have
I imagine they've got so
bladed
many.
arms and
Yeah.
hands and stuff. And same thing with synths as well. Synths can potentially have anatomy that makes them additionally lethal. But I think what would be really interesting would be alien powers. What if there was a species that can breathe fire, for example?
Oh.
Great.
You know, breathe fire, shoot acid, you know, maybe have a tail with spikes that you can whip around.
We've
There's
seen
all sorts of
spines.
things like that.
Spines was like
Yeah.
that. Spines was made out of spikes, porcupine
Spines
like.
was made out of spikes, although they weren't really super lethal spikes.
Well, Spines
Them-
tried, Dickie, okay? And Spines died. So a little bit of respect.
Don't speak ill of
Respect
the
for
dead.
Spines.
Yeah.
No respect.
But I think it would be very fun if someone were to create alien type character or even like a psychic character who has very specific, almost like superpower type damage abilities. There's absolutely nothing in this system to stop characters like that existing.
Mhm.
We haven't really made many of those sorts of things yet, but I feel like they might pop up at some point.
They're coming.
Brilliant. And so if we're thinking about that, then what type of attacks can you do that aren't weapons?
Ooh.
We've mentioned some of the psychic abilities. We've mentioned some of the organic bits that are grown out of your body there with the wraiths and whatnot. But is there anything else in there that could happen from a damage dealer?
I do think the world is your oyster and your imagination is the limit.
It's beautiful.
Traps and tricks, if you can get someone to fall off, if you can grab someone and throw them off something.
Environmental kills.
Yeah, well, you could use your strength roll rather than an attack roll to wrestle someone and put them in a damaging position, hold
Yeah.
them in front of a train, you know?
You know what would be cool to see as a jelly?
Ooh.
And I'm not saying that jellies can do this. There's no precedence here. And if we're being completely honest, this is probably not a jelly thing at all. This is more like a scorpion thing, whatever.
Ooh.
You know, because we're talking about like attacks that you can do that are not psychic or weapon based or whatever. What about poison?
Like a toxic sting.
If you have something that's bad and you can excrete it, you know?
Oh, I want to
mean,
make a slug
jellyfish-
character.
Yes.
Jellyfish in our world can sting, but we've never, I mean, I think Atola
We
Medusa...
don't really talk about it.
I don't think Atola Medusa sting. I think like their tendrils are actually designed for mind hacking.
Yeah, but now that we're thinking about it, what about a slug character that has
That oozes acid.
That oozes and is
Ooh.
once again in a robotic suit.
I'm actually picturing like octopus.
The slug is filling out the robotic suit though.
Oh.
Contorted itself to
And then they
fit.
can just like let some of themselves out whenever they need to attack.
Oh, I love it.
And that seems like an X-Men character.
Like, if
yeah,
you-
I have to stay within the suit.
I'll tell you, you've just set my mind on fire with cool ideas.
Oh, if you
Poisons?
could ink or if you could excrete some kind of terrible viscous acid.
I mean, if we want to talk about poison, we can't forget what the Craw did.
okay,
well,
that's
'Cause
different.
that- again,
that's
that
different.
was a
That's
damaging
different,
move.
Dickie. That's different
different.
poison.
That's different.
That was dick
But
poison.
that was a damaging move.
I want
and that did,
dick poison.
That was dick poison.
It's almost like Rogue, but with body fluids. And I know where you're going.
That's what I was saying when Dan was talking about his slug that lives inside the suit. It is like an X-Men character. I have this really lethal power, but I just want to live a normal life, so I've got to lock myself in this suit.
I want that. I want that to happen.
I'm loving this idea for a character. Yeah.
And that's a real fun way to have like a character who has full-on mega DPS overpowered amount of damage character because they can inflict damage so readily. But the way you counter that is being like, well, that ruins their life, you know, absolutely ruins their
A
life.
character that controls shit. Like when we had the mushrooms. What if Cleo and the mushrooms had a situation going on and Cleo became like a mushroom warlock, right?
I mean, I think that depending how you'd make that work, that could be more a support type role than a damage role. But again, if you can think of a way to deal damage with that, and the one true leader certainly did, then why not?
Why not? Anything can happen.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
But I guess, yeah, everyone's dealing damage. That's it's one of the most fun things to do is like roll that
Everybody
dice
was
thing and see how much damage you've done.
damage. Oh my god, perfect. Okay, but just really quick. What was your favorite Improvised weapon.
Special attack that we've done in general.
Yeah, RP attacks. I feel like that's our big thing, right? Is every time we get into a situation, there's a pause and then, okay, how many things can I do because I have an idea?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some really fun ones. A lot of them haven't worked, but a lot of them have worked
a
as
lot
well.
of times they don't work, but a lot of times they do work, and that's my favorite thing to do in the game. And I think that Orbital Refuse is really set up to allow you to do this kind of thing, right? Because it's like, hey, if you got energy, you got a way.
I
right?
am slowing down right now trying to think of my favorite
I can't pick one. I just love that we do it. I love being able to like hear what's going on and then go, I want to try a thing.
I mean, we've done some mad things.
Surfing
like a lot
the
of
rats.
Jumping out of spaceships.
Surfing the rats.
Surfing the rats and throwing the sweets.
And then we killed a woman with rats. That was crazy.
That was amazing.
That was actually the most insane thing I've ever seen in a tabletop RPG game. That was madness and unhinged, quite frankly, of us.
I loved it.
To do.
I loved it.
I mean, I enjoyed that immensely. I mean, more recently, the throwing of the credits, I think, was a brilliant improvised weapon, although it never did any damage. I guess we've already called it a tank ability.
It probably didn't. We just didn't pay attention to it. Think of like if one of those bad boys fell on your neck while you're trying to play poker.
Also, the psychological damage of people watching all that money get deleted.
You're just trying to sit at the bar. You're on holiday. You paid a lot of money to get here. These idiots are fighting. You're just trying to drink a Coke at the bar.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a exploding coin hits the back of your head.
You wouldn't be drinking a Coke. You'd be drinking Sassy Mama Cola.
Sassy Mama Cola.
Sorry,
Sassy Mama Cola.
Mm-hmm. Frankly, why would you be sitting at the bar to drink a Coke too? But like, I biffed it, okay?
Yeah.
I biffed it. I'm thinking about the credit burning a hole on the back of my neck because I'm sitting in the way.
I'm thinking about the rats still. I'm thinking about the rats.
I'm never
We've
not
had
thinking about
as
them.
well like some Zeo occasions where we've sort of got this mad
Zeo
like
moments, yes.
sort of like supported attacks. Cleo's coming in with the axe, and then Z is helping with his jelly honey boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. No,
So good.
I think for me, it's less about the specific time and it's more about I love improvising attacks because that was one of the big reasons that we evolved away from Dungeons and Dragons, because when we were homebrewing and playing Raloran, we had a lot of like homebrewed spells. So it's like, this is a thing that does exist, but we've really changed it. And there were a couple moves that were like truly just created. One of my favorite moves from that was like the Baron's glass shard attack.
Yeah, the broken bottle.
That was so visual. And so, I mean, like, even when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, we were already ripping it apart.
It was basically like a reskin.
It was just a reskinning,
it
It was like
floating daggers, floating knives, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it was so much better after we touched it.
We've been doing this for some time. We've been reskinning things to make them fit our characters. Yeah.
I don't want to go to my spell book and pick something that somebody else made. I want to make up my own thing in this moment, and the energy lets me do it, and that is what I like.
A lot of that is baked into the. You know what everyone's health is approximately. It's either 7, 10, or 15. You know what damage someone's dealing. It's either 6 or 8, or D6 or D8. And then the rest of it is more like flavor and sort of support additional utility. So going back, say we have this alien that can breathe fire. They breathe fire on you. It does 1d6 damage. But they can also start fires with it. They can create walls of fire. They've got all these additional support things that is really limited by the role-playing that they negotiate with the game master.
No, definitely.
I like it. I just like it. That's my favorite part.
Just having that really flat amount of damage. Like, so if you come up and shoot someone, you come up and stab someone, you do some sort of crazy, I can shoot lasers out of my eyes ability. It's cool. None of them are going to be more overpowered than the other in terms of flat damage. So that means that the advantages and disadvantages of one or the other is going to be purely situational based on this exact scenario. Like if you're at a close range, a melee attack is going to be superior because you can use it to parry someone's gun right out and they can't even attack you at all if it's not pointed. There's all these sorts of little things to consider.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it more fun because it means that you can be like, oh yeah, so if this person's trying to get me with a sniper rifle and I'm right up in their face and I'm pushing the sniper rifle up into the air, they suddenly can't shoot me at all, and you have to play around story rather than... Because again, in Dungeons & Dragons, you can get a point-blank shot feat and you can just go, I shoot you, So we're going to be right back. Have a word from our sponsors.
That's a fart.
Right, we're back.
Sorry.
We've talked about tank and taking damage or trying not to take as much damage.
Taking
We're
ain't
talked about-
giving.
We're talking about dealing damage. We
Yeah.
talked about fighting in
Receiving.
all them different ways you can try and kill somebody or maybe just knock them out if you're a little bit that way inclined. What we haven't talked about yet is heals and just general medical abilities.
And we're not talking about WWE villains when we say heals. We're talking about
Oh,
healing.
I had to think
Thank you
so
very much.
hard about
I'll
that.
see myself out.
Bye.
We're not talking about uncomfortable footwear.
Oh my god.
We're talking about healing.
Healing.
I wish you could have seen the inside of my brain when you made that joke because it burnt a little bit. My mind went so fast going, what is he talking about? What is this joke?
We're not talking about those long fish. We're talking about healing.
Oh, okay. We're done. So now I actually need some heals after that. And so let me just ask you, I noticed that the Discord fam, they are super interested in healing. And I suspect that's because they're getting their behinds beat all up in these games that they're playing. Yeah, that's right. You heard it. People in our Discord are playing Orbital Refuse. Get in on it while it's hot. But
Link in show notes.
Yep. So, like, look,
Should we talk about heals in our campaign?
Who is a healer that we know, and why is it Z?
I mean, I can think of one.
I can think of one.
So it's Z.
It's Z.
It's me.
Z
I'm the
is-
jelly you're looking for.
Z is a healer. I mean, Z is a healer in the most basic sense as well. That he just took
He's
the medical
basic.
skill.
Yeah.
Like he is legitimately
Probably.
like a medical
Probably
doctor.
is quite basic.
He's a medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds fake, but okay.
I have a certificate.
Someone could potentially be a healer in other ways. You could be like a chemistry-based healer. You could just make
you mean that?
salves
Okay.
and potions.
Potions.
You could be like an engineering-based healer. Those first-person shooter team games where you can a gun that heals people. I feel like as well you could have special power to heal people. You could stitch people up with your full-on alien abilities. But yeah, I mean, healing, in terms of like the nuts and bolts of how it works in gameplay, it's very straightforward. You use a skill. If it succeeds, you restore some hit points and keep someone going a little bit longer, knit those wounds together somehow and repair them. But it is maybe more interesting to question thematically how that's working. For example, when we're looking at Dr. Z, he is Dr. Z. He is a medical doctor. He has all the trappings as such of a surgeon. He has his blade, his scalpels. He's even been drawn with like a white coat on over his robot body at times, which I don't know whether or not that was canonical, but it feels right for him.
It fit at the start, and then maybe now it's replaced with a cool jacket from the scrap planet.
Yeah, all right,
But
buddy.
regardless, Z's flavor of healing is this is like what medicine looks like in this galaxy. And a lot of it is medical kits, which have a series of tools you can use and apply, but it is generally based on nanotechnology that can accelerate healing. So if you can apply things appropriately, if you can diagnose what the problem is and apply these things in the right place,
Nice.
then you can bring someone back from the brink of death.
Nice.
It's a skill-based thing, but it is using really a forgiving technology.
So you can kind of like theme it out how you want.
Oh, I mean, 100%, yeah.
I like it. I like it. I feel like when we are doing these things, when we are in a situation where we do need healing or when we need to create damage or when we need to protect ourselves, I don't go immediately into my character sheet. I very rarely, I don't go, we go for very long periods of time without looking at our character sheets. And I think that being able
we're
to...
quite familiar with what the characters can do as well, I
Fair.
suspect.
That's true. It has been over 2 years.
Yeah.
It's, again, improvised weapon applies for me here too. Because I see a lot of stuff. I read stuff. I see art. And I think, I want to borrow that concept. Or, I know Isaac was asking about this in the Discord. And the thing that popped into my brain immediately was where I've seen healing and thought, that seems really futuristic. And I want to do that kind of healing in the game. Here we have this company that does skin grafts with fish skin instead of using traditional methods to do these skin grafts. And it's working really unusually well is the idea that I get from
that's
it.
crazy, eh?
I see that and I think that's not what I know to be medicine. That feels like
that
medicine
feels sci-fi.
in the future.
That is futuristic, yeah.
And it's happening right now. And it's like how M8 said too, because we get a lot of questions that, I mean, we're all human. So a lot of our questions come from a place of human perspective. And I always remember being M8 and saying things like, well, that's for meats. So what does healing look like for things that are not meats?
That's a good question. For example, with Dr. Z, we haven't had to do like a lot of straight up healing on his body. But I guess he is a carbon-based life form. He is made of skin and jelly, skin and muscle, but no bones, no cartilage. So healing him is a very different thing to do. But then, once you get to synthetics, they cannot be healed. They can only be fixed.
Yeah. But that's one of my favorite things is that none of these systems that we talk about, it's never just going to be a human system. There's going to be so many different angles to it because this is not a game for humans. This is a game for a bunch of stuff. And I love having to do that. I love having to like take a break and go,
Interestingly enough, I guess we haven't had any synths who have stayed alongside the party for long times. The closest example would be Reese, where you've had to actually get them fixed up. But yeah, like to fix a synth is a kind of a different thing. Synths cannot be like healed on the fly, but they can be fixed on the fly, which is a completely different discipline. You need an engineer to do that. Having a healer is going to be no good. So technically, if you had like a synth with you, say you're fighting alongside Dietz, then suddenly Boris, who we haven't mentioned yet, becomes a healer.
Yes, a very good engineer, someone who is very good with the mechanical ways, completely a healer for anything with circuit boards and metal, plastics or steels.
I'm hoping that there comes an opportunity where Boris can step up and be like, don't worry, Z, I got this one, and heal someone that way. It'd be fun.
I just want to lick a sucker and stick it to somebody, and that's the heal.
That's how Cleo heals.
That's how Cleo
has done some improvised healing, hasn't she? She tried to start someone's heart with a...
You're right. Yeah.
In fact, it was Z. She revived Z with an improvised electroshock.
Yes.
And that's an example of improvised weapons in medicine. I am not an expert in these things as me, the player, but I know about stuff. I've seen stuff. You're seeing stuff every day. And I know that people use electricity to start people's hearts. I've seen it. You've seen a defibrillator. You know a little bit about it. Maybe you don't know how to use one. But
in pop culture, at least, technically, medically, it's actually to stop a floundering heart so that it can reset.
Fair.
It's turning the heart off and on.
And if you're listening to this and you're a doctor and you're about to come for me, like, save your fucking time because I'm not interested.
I mean, it won't start a heart, but ignoring that for a second, like, and using
it's a game.
Video game logic. I mean, I feel like if someone's unconscious and you electrocute them, that's going to wake them up if you do it well.
That's the thing. I don't really know how it works to, apply nanites. I don't really understand how nanotechnology functions completely, but I know of it.
I can envision what it looks like and tell a story around it.
Yes, and that's my favorite thing about this. I just think it's super cool when we make crap up. I love it. I don't know. It might not work. And in the game, it often doesn't work, even if you know exactly how it works. I mean, we try stuff that we should theoretically be able to do, but sometimes you don't because you hit that nat one and the story is still cool, even if.
Or sometimes
you mess
maybe
up.
you try and do something this is kind of outlandish and it's a good character moment and you've succeeded your role.
Yeah.
But I cannot, in good conscience, allow it to work to the greatest extent. Yeah, like this thing can't save the day because it doesn't make any sense. So it's just going to do this little bit towards what we want.
And speaking of healing kind of hitting the fan, do you guys want to do like a little scoreboard in your little minds of how many times Cleo's almost died because Z tried to heal her?
Yeah. Well, that can't be that high.
It hasn't been that many times because Cleo hasn't needed
I was about to say,
that much on-screen
it's
healing.
more than twice.
Is it?
I think so.
Or is it twice?
I want it to be more than twice.
There hasn't been too many failed medical rolls. But I mean, we certainly...
But failed rolls that have almost killed Cleo in the attempt?
Oh, in general,
that happened 2 times at least.
Yeah, I mean,
because it
Z's,
happened
like,
in the
shot...
pilot, right?
Yeah.
Because I
you were going to die otherwise.
Well, yeah, but you're the one that pushed it over the edge.
No, it made it worse.
Yeah. So there was that one, and then there was the one where we were trapped in the brig during the Zarg Moon fight, and I got really messed up, and you were trying to help me, but like it didn't work. And then I feel like there's
in the butter knife when he was like, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I'll shoot the asteroid," and then he shot at you guys.
That one that happened like 2 times in a row.
That wasn't heels. That's I
mean,
don't
that
know why you're
wasn't
bringing that
heels,
up.
but...
Well, a doctor did it. I forgot about that, but that was so fun because I made.
So we're going on to listener questions now. Let's play that theme music.
Hey, if you guys want to relive that
moment. Are there
moment,
more times that Z messed up?
It's time for listener questions.
it's time for listener questions.
Listener questions.
Ow!
It's listener questions.
Ooh, beautiful. So the thing is,
it's time for listener questions.
The thing is, y'all are pretty smart, and you pretty much know everything.
Right.
So you didn't really have a lot of questions, but Octopus, our son, came through with a question, and it was, how the heck do healers work in OR? As soon as you run out of med kits, like, is that it?
I mean, short answer, kind of yes, but long answer, no way.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So you need to have those med kits if you want to just restore hit points. If you want to just like somebody is taking too much damage and you want to just like heal them up and restore those hit points, you need some sort of advanced technology or beyond human ability to knit that skin back together and fix those ouchies. However, and Dr. Z has done these sorts of things before, you can perform, just normal tangible medical procedures to like stabilize someone if they're on the brink of death, to just deal with specific wounds. So if you have medical abilities and you've run completely out of medkits, there's still plenty you can do. But it's not going to bring back any hit points. It's just going to keep someone alive or keep someone from deteriorating.
So follow-up question to that, because I think now we're all feeling like, better stock up on those reagents. Is there a carry limit to things like medkits? Or how low can you go here?
I mean, I'm going to come out and say I've not set a carry limit of what you can carry.
Oh.
They're little. Like a little thing, you just like snap that open and you got your stuff in there.
So money is the ceiling. I
think money's the ceiling. Well, with the shop, I designed all of the chemistry kits, engineering kits, healing kits, all these things to be this notion that you buy this little box and you open it up and it's got like a bunch of little single-use things inside it.
Yeah. Because you've never cut me off from buying explosive kits. But I usually don't have a lot of money.
Improvised kits.
Yeah, I mean, you've legitimately been carrying around over 100 at some point, haven't you?
I think I tried, but I don't think I had enough money. I think I grossly underestimated how much they cost and how much I had. I don't know. I've definitely tried it, because I look at them kind of like ammo. If I have this, I can make bombs.
I mean, don't treat this as gospel. I feel like if what you're trying to do doesn't make any sense from a story perspective, I'm just going to carry 10,000 of them. Like, obviously you can't carry that many, and at that point, I'm just going to have to be like, well, okay, I'm going to set an arbitrary limit. I might adjust it for the book.
Yeah, that's fair. So you hear that? It's developing! But don't leave the house without a heal kit, med kit, whatever.
So we have another question from Ella Appleseed, and she says, I'm not a role player, but I still enjoy listening to the podcast, so I'm so glad you asked the question about favorite improvised weapons. While the rebar, of course, comes to mind, and Cleo's use of an escape pod to deliver a payload of bombs to a certain ship was inspired,
Woo!
I think my favorite improvised weapon would have to be the prawn candies that Cleo used in the episode with the rats.
Oh.
I mean, it's a good choice. I feel like that was both of you guys' favorite as well, wasn't it?
I had to think about it for a while, but yes, 100% agree.
I'd forgotten about the escape pod and the prawn candies, but thank you for mentioning it because
the escape pod
Yes.
one. The escape pod one was brutal.
was so cool.
We don't bring it up that often, but that was the one time that the bastards committed like kind of a serious naughty crime.
Well,
I mean, defense.
let's go back to not bringing it up then, I guess.
A thing that is definitely going to bite them in the ass one of these days.
Right, well, okay.
Great.
Well, not this day.
What if we say it wasn't us?
Mm.
Yeah.
What if I
have
hack
to.
their systems and I make it seem like it was Z1?
Ooh, wait, what if we make it seem like it was somebody we don't like?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that lady.
Guile.
It's that lady with Shannon. She did it.
It's her. It's the
She
bad-
did
It's the
it.
bad girl.
It kind of hurts that I can't take credit for it because it was real cool.
I mean, the
Yeah,
synths
it was clever.
will only have, a record of what ship it was that did it. They're not going to have seen you guys specifically. So
What ship did it?
Well,
the Grey Dragon.
Oh, change that.
You jettisoned your escape pod full of explosives.
Change it.
we could just change the license plate on our ship. Okay. So,
Next.
yeah.
That was it.
No, I agree, Ella. It was a brilliant moment.
It was. It was
Right.
a brilliant moment. And the candy. Oh,
The candy. Oh.
You guys came to the episode and you were like, Dick, we've been conferring amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
We've got some cool ideas. You had these big smiles on your face. You're like, yeah, like back to back, like,
We had a
arms
meeting.
crossed, like,
We had a
yeah,
meeting.
we're ready
We did.
for this.
We did.
we had a
Yeah,
meeting before that episode, Dick. We
Uh-huh.
came
And then
we came
Tom's
DM
like,
prepped.
okay,
Yeah.
how have you guys broken the game? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you started throwing candies. I'm like, this is not a broken. You're throwing prawn candies, and then you're like, wait for it. There's rats, and rats like the candy. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I will allow it because I thought you were doing like sort of classic like the bastards misunderstand how useful this silly thing they're doing is going to be kind of moves where often that's like a self-aware choice anyway that then led into actual genius. We've been getting these rats together and that's what the candies are for. It's just bait for the rats.
We've
It's
been
like,
really busy collecting rats.
Collecting rat.
I really enjoyed that where it was a storytelling based attack where it
Yeah.
actually combined multiple smaller things that had come up in the prior episode and combined them into one cohesive thing. I think that's a really
Because that's the thing. Knowing that we're allowed to do this makes me pay 10 times more attention to where I am. Because I'm
Where you are, what's in
constantly
the room.
thinking, how can I leverage my environment and situation to do something really cool and protect myself? I like it. That's my way. That's my favorite way to play.
I like it.
I like it.
well, we keep having like these sort of just little cinematic here it goes moments like Z palming himself up onto a passing person in the casino and hacking their brain quickly and then moving around throughout this crowd by jumping from person to person and stuff. And I feel like that kind of combat where it's not even really combat, it's in between the shots being fired is often where we thrive.
I agree.
Totally.
Well, heck, we've made it to the end of the lore dive.
Oh no, we dove into shallow water and we hit the bottom and broke our necks.
Don't worry, guys. I'm a healer. I'm still looking for a group. So if you're waiting, I can
Nope.
come heal you. No, okay. I'll go find another
Pre-mades
pool.
only.
It's all right. I've still got 1 hit point. That's all I need.
Just like a bastard.
Yeah.
So, guys,
Hey.
what have we learned?
Oh my glob. Okay, I actually did learn something.
You did?
Sorta.
Yeah.
And that's why I love doing these because we play the game and have been playing the game practically every other week for the past 3 years, whatever.
Yes.
However, doing this and hearing the rules from Dick kind of in the most basic possible way, we don't do a lot of that. And so there was a moment when we were talking about, I think we were talking about special moves, RP attacks, improvised weapons, like we were in that zone of the damage section moment.
Yeah.
And he said, you're fighting and you kind of know that the typical possible like range of hit points for an enemy are going to be like 7, 10, or 15. And
Yeah.
you also know that your typical possible damage that you're going to get from a person is a D6 or a D8. And obviously there are these edge cases like the bombs. But when he said it like that, I realized I'd never thought of it like that ever.
Now we can count cards a little bit.
And I wrote it down.
I mean, every now and then I do say things like, so Z's on 5 hit points. He could be killed in one shot. Like, I will remind you
but
of
I could always be
those
killed in one shot.
specificities.
Even when I'm
But
at max hit
this
points,
is
I could
not
be killed
how
in one
I
shot.
think when I play a game. This is not my, I am a strategist in a way that is not like this at all.
Yeah.
Like, this is not my play style. And so to hear it like that kind of did a little bing because it was the right way for me to receive it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes somebody phrases something in a way and I'm like, oh, I can use that. My brain immediately absorbed it. And it was just a cool way. It was a completely different way. That part of games is hard for me. I struggle with that stuff. And it's why I love this system because I don't have to do that all through a session. Like sometimes I play different systems with other people and I am legitimately, I'll have like 15 tabs open so that I can read different books at different moments and understand how does this do that? When can I can only do that 3 times in the, and I get so desperately, I work so hard doing that I don't always really enjoy what I'm doing. And I freaking constantly enjoy what I'm doing when I'm doing this. But that is exactly how I needed that information. And so that was cool for me.
I think it's definitely that little tidbit be very useful for knowing when you can reasonably tank a shot.
Yeah.
And also knowing when you can put yourself in harm's way to try and get the kill shot on someone.
Yeah.
I think those are both
Or save
really,
a friend.
Yeah.
Now, what I'll say is what I learned wasn't really so much a lesson because everything was informative for me. But the one thing that's on the top of my brain, the rats. I'm just so happy to be reminded of the rats.
Right? That's one of the things I love about this.
The rats.
The rats. Ratties.
I love the rats, and I'm gonna just chuckle to myself now, thinking about that improvised moment where we turned a swarm of rats into a wave of death.
We were so proud of that.
This it started. I don't know. There are some rats around. Z's trying to find things with his mind, and all he's finding is all these rats.
Dang rats!
And honestly, that was just for me. That was just like a little bit of smoke and mirrors. There's synths coming after you. You're not going to be able to find them with your mind.
Yeah.
But then you guys used it against me. And
I'm so proud of it.
You and that stupid rat dream.
I'm so proud.
That's a quote from Willow.
Willow.
Oh my god. It's just exciting. It's exciting to every now and then think of something that I don't know how to explain it. I feel like Dick is really good at this. And if we ever come up with anything that Dick has to think about, I'm like, whoa!
Yeah. It's a good win.
It feels
It's a win
like
for
when
us.
you're a kid,
maybe
you
it
reach a
doesn't
cabinet.
Maybe it doesn't seem that I have to do that often, but you guys are constantly throwing me curveballs.
Well,
That's brilliant.
Sometimes the most basic things you do, I'm like, I never would have thought you would do that. Like it's
I love
like
those
now,
moments.
Yes.
now with hindsight, I understand why you're doing it. I basically set you up for this, but I didn't realize I did.
I love that. That's the best. That's one of the best parts of doing this is just surprising each other constantly with the things that we make.
No, I
you
love
put
it.
stuff down and then other people will pick it up and it's fun and to see it happen is crazy. I like that.
I love it as well.
I love doing this with y'all.
Oh, I love you too.
I love being a party.
Oh, and if you love us being a party of your ears, then you can find more of our
You can come and be a
episodes.
Patreon.
Oh, we're doing all the puns.
Oh God. That voice got to a point where I couldn't stand it anymore.
And so if you are finding yourself flush and your pockets are dragging you down because they're filled with credits and they're spilling out of your pants, then you can give us those spare credits and we will give to you sidearm episodes twice a month, our ramblings before and after our episode recordings, and also Ralaran, our D&D 5th edition campaign. It's where we cut our teeth on podcasting. And you can hear all of those things on our Patreon. The link is in the show notes. And for the price of a fancy fruit each month, one fancy fruit a month, you could get access to those. Beautiful, beautiful trinkets and baubles.
Wow.
So do.
So do. Vote good, yes.
taxes. They're going to be lower, son.
Jesus.
Dick, you came in with like too low energy. I came in with too high energy. Like we need to find the middle spot.
No, with all seriousness, check out all our other stuff. There's details in the show notes.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Join the Discord, you fools. We'll be in there.
We'll see you there because we're gone from here. So, bye.
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 Tune in next time for another edge of your seat adventure in space with the Backwater Bastards.
If you enjoy listening, but also have eyes, check out our Instagram, where we post drawings, illustrations, character art from our adventures. Backwater_Bastards. Check out our Instagram on Instagram.
Okay, Tay, we are taking way too much damage here. I really think we do have to go back and get him.
Hey,
We have
does
to?
Anyone need a healer?
Oh, he's
Like,
still
I-
out there. He's still out there.
If I get hit one more time, I'm out. So, like...
Can't you just hide behind a rock? Or...
Okay.
I am already hiding behind a rock and they're, like,
looking
smashing
for
through
group.
rocks.
Looking for group.
Oh. Hey.
I'm
Hey.
Oh yeah.
You wanna heal us?
You want to heal us?
Oh, can I?
That's it.
This is called healing hands.
Oh,
No, it's
Why?
good. Don't worry, it's fine. This is how it.
Ow!
This is how it works.
It burns.
No, it's good. It's good.
No, wait.
Thank you for letting me do this.
Why did it leave a mark?